Okay, the moment you've all been waiting for. How I train my back remastered. In this video, I'll give you everything you need to build a wide, detailed back. Use these exercises, sets and reps, training cues, and you will transform your body, I promise. This is it, all in one video. So let's dive right into it. I train my back twice a week, once on my back and biceps day, and once on my chest and back day. Again, this allows me to hit my golden rule of 9 to 12 hard sets per muscle group per week. And of course, I separate both training days with 3 days of rest / non-back training days in order to ensure adequate recovery. So the first and absolutely essential movement that I do on my back and biceps day is the straight bar lat pull down. Now you may be wondering why the straight bar. I find personally that it reduces tension on my biceps and my forearms, and it makes my lats work even harder to pull down the weight. The same goes for wide grip pull down, to be honest. These two are pretty much interchangeable, but this attachment has been my go-to so far, and I really enjoy it. But both are basically the same. It's just really about personal preference. Here I'll do 2 sets, failing within the 5 to 9 rep range, squeezing at the bottom, slowly releasing the weight up, holding that stretch at the top. And after I fail, I'll do a couple lengthened partials for that stretch mediated hypertrophy. Next up is another one of my favorite movements, and that is the T-bar row. The chest support allows you to remove all other parts of your musculature, your lower back, your stabilizing muscles, and just focus on your lats or your upper back, depending on what grip you use. Here though, I will drive my elbows into my hips, focusing on my lats. That means using the slightly narrower grip available. Again, I'll do 2 sets, failing within the 5 to 9 rep range, going to complete concentric and eccentric failure. Big stretch, big squeeze, and slowly lowering the weight down. And let me just make a quick comment here for anyone who's interested. There's something called regional hypertrophy for all muscle groups. This means hypertrophy can be generated in many different ways. And this means that if you want to maximize gains, you should be using more than one biomechanically different movement. So in simple terms, say you're training your chest. You want to make sure you're doing a chest fly variation and a press. For your legs, you want to make sure you're doing a squat variation and a leg extension. And for your back, in this case, you want to make sure you're doing, yes, pull downs and pullovers, but you also want to make sure you're doing rows. You will grow more from doing both variations than if you were just to choose one. So by selecting lat pull downs and a T-bar row, you've selected a very optimal combination of exercises for muscle growth. Next on the list is the deadlift. This movement, although controversial, is the best back movement for generating hypertrophy in your upper traps and your spinal erectors. 2 parts of your back musculature that don't really get hit on your pull downs or your rows. And to be honest, deadlifts are the best exercises I've found for growing your upper traps and that Christmas tree on your lower back. And not to mention that your upper traps and your lower back are extremely important for aesthetics. Here I'll only do 1 working set. I'll work my way up, of course, with warm-up sets, but only taking 1 set to failure, failing within the 5 to 9 rep range. Make sure to keep a flat back, brace, and you must control your eccentrics. Otherwise, you're missing on half of the growth potential, and you're basically just powerlifting. So don't drop the weight down, control it down. The final movement on my back and biceps day that I do for back is the single arm cable row. Again, driving your elbows into your hips here to focus on your lats, and this is great for targeting the lower lat, which when fully developed makes you look very aesthetic. So here I'll do 2 sets, 1 for each side, failing within the 8 to 12 rep range. Keep upright, don't lean forward, don't twist, just focus on your elbows driving back and forth. That's all the work I do for back on my back and biceps day. It's slightly more lat dominant, but that's because my chest and back day is more upper back dominant, and my upper back is more developed than my lats anyways, so my lats could use the extra work. Anyway, let's see what I have in store for you on my chest and back day. First one is a classic back builder, the barbell row. Here I'll work my way up to 1 working set of 5 to 9 reps, taken to complete failure. This is great for your mid, lower traps, and your rhomboids as well. And of course, a bit of lats. Next up, I do a dual arm machine row. Here I will drive my elbows into my hips to bias the lats again. I'll do 1 set to failure, failing within the 8 to 12 rep range, and I'll make it a 50% drop set, meaning after the set, I'll drop the weight by 50% and go again to complete failure immediately. Okay, the next exercise I do on my chest and back day is a bent over dumbbell row. I want you to do both arms at the same time and drive your elbows into your armpits. Really contract your scapula. This way you are biasing, again, your upper back, your mid, lower traps, and your rhomboids. Here I do 1 set of 8 to 12 reps to complete failure. Another great exercise to build a thick upper back. And my final back movement for the day is a neutral grip lat pull down. But here I drive my elbows into my armpits so that it is pretty much all upper back working. This movement gives me an incredible mind muscle connection, incredible contraction with my upper back musculature, and it really helps me add detail to my upper back, which again is very important for aesthetics. And here I'll do 1 set, taken to failure, failing within the 10 to 15 rep range. And that's my secret. That's all I do for growing a bigger back in my 5th year of training. 9 to 12 hard sets per week for back, optimal volume and intensity. Every part of my back gets hit with optimal exercises. Again, you can pick and choose which exercises you do or don't like. Everyone's different, but these right now are my go-to for growth and for having an enjoyable workout. But you can swap them out for any variation of your choice. And if you have any questions about that, just ask me in the comments. Again, you don't have to train your chest with back. You don't have to train your back with biceps. You don't have to do a lat bias day and an upper back bias day like I do. You don't even have to follow this exact ordering. As long as you have that 9 to 12 sets to failure per week for back, then you will grow. If you want to grow even better, then just use these movements. Okay, thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe to my newsletter for free training programs, supplement plans, and a bunch more goodies. Make sure to join Club Physique for even more free stuff, hours of content, programs, community, everything inside there. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.